Welcome back to Simply Living It for another video. Today I want to share some encouragement with you guys, some homeschooling encouragement. And this is taken from the phrase you've been hearing me say a lot lately because it is so incredibly true and so important that we actually see this perspective and that we look at our homeschooling journey through this lens. Sometimes we have a way of overcomplicating everything. And I think when you break it down, it's really very simple. Not homeschooling in itself. Homeschooling is not easy at all by any means. I think sometimes when we look at homeschooling, we're looking at the entire scope and thinking, how am I ever going to teach my kids everything? How am I ever going to prepare them in every way possible for life? How am I ever going to teach them everything they ever need to know about life? You're not going to. There's no way humanly possible that that could ever be a thing. Our job is to homeschool our children, prepare our children for their future as best we can, to teach our children and to raise our children, to train our children up in the way that the Lord has called us each individually as families to raise our children. And so a lot of this concept, the run your own race, okay, that's a biblical term. That is a verse taken from God's word in regards to life, running your race, running the race that He has called you to do with endurance. At the retreat that I just hosted here a couple weeks back, that was one of my big talking points, was running your race with endurance. And I had never really understood this term until the training process for my run. Now, it may seem like it's two completely different things. It is, but it all became one beautifully through this training process. So I'm still wearing some of the scars. I've got this giant fever blister on my lip. I must have sent my body just like in overdrive. Still in the healing process, but I'm still very much on a high inside from everything that the Lord did in this very short amount of time. And so I wanted to share this verse and kind of this new vision for our homeschooling journeys and what that looks like running your own race. I want to share that with you all. That's today's topic. That is the encouragement that I have for you today. Instead of coffee today, I'm opting for the Armra colostrum, trying to give my gut all those good probiotics and stuff. So that's what I'll be sipping on throughout this video as I'm just sharing a little something special with you guys. So again, I know a lot of this has to do with running talk, but it literally, like, God showed me so much through this process that I can't not share it with you. About 5 weeks before the ultramarathon was scheduled, I decided to sign up for a trail run out in our area, and I was not prepared for it. And I will tell you all day long that that trail run was way more difficult than the entire ultramarathon that I did. 13.1 miles was way more difficult on my body. My body was wrecked compared to the 31 miles, 31.7 that I did. So it's really interesting. But this perspective is so true in life. It's true in motherhood, in our marriage, in our homeschool. And God really ministered to my soul through this. For me, I'm out on this trail. I'm running along. And there are people of all ages, of all fitness levels, of all backgrounds, of all sizes, physical limitations, achievements. It's incredible. If you've never signed up for even a 5K of some sort, like, go. It will just give you this a newfound energy and appreciation just for life in general. I think, like, just the human body, life in general. So there are people out there of all shapes and sizes, of all physical abilities, physical limitations, everything. It's incredible. And this race was a lot of uphill. It was a trail run, a lot of uphill. There was a man that was probably like 80 years old, and I'm not exaggerating. And I remember him specifically because he had a sun hat on, and on that sun hat, he had like this little clip-on mirror that was a drop down, like it dropped down from the bill of his hat so that he could see like who was behind him. And I didn't have any music for the entire duration of this run because it was one of those runs where I couldn't be taking my eyes off of the trail in front of me. I had to literally watch where every single, like where my foot was being placed in every single landing, because if I didn't, I would roll my ankle, I would break my ankle. I knew I didn't want to come out of this run with an injury because I had so much more to come. But this race was that intense that I had to watch where I placed my foot on every single step. And you guys, like, are you seeing where I'm going with this? Specifically watching your lane, your race. I couldn't take my eyes off to watch everybody around me. I couldn't take my eyes off really to even get scenery for you guys to share in any way, shape, or form. Because literally, if I was distracted by my phone trying to get footage or trying to change to a different song, if I was distracted by anything, I seriously risked breaking my ankle, breaking my leg, breaking my hip. I don't even know. The possibilities are endless, but I would not have been able to finish this race because I would have had an injury of some form. I knew instantly when the Lord laid that whole concept on my mind, I'm like, this is bigger than what this is. So I went and I dove into God's word and just endurance in general and running our race and what that looks like. And all of that bounced off of Psalm 23. So if you believe the Lord is your shepherd, he is your good shepherd, he will give you cover, he will give you rest, he will give you peace, he will, all the things, right? In Psalm 23, you believe all these things about the Lord. You have faith to believe that he is who he says he is, and that he will do all the things he says he will do, and that he loves you, and that he will not harm you, right? All of these things, all the things that God's word tells us as we dive into his word. If you believe all of these things about him, but you're doubting the calling that he has on your family to homeschool, or you're doubting your ability to homeschool your children faithfully and well, it's just kind of one of those things that doesn't go together. Endurance to run your race. Do not look to the left or to the right. And the verse I have referenced in my notes, Hebrews 12, verse 1-3, run your race with perseverance. Hebrews 13:20, the Lord, here we are again, your great shepherd, the great shepherd from Psalm 23, the Lord will equip you with everything good for doing his will. The Lord is my shepherd, I have all I need, Psalm 23. The rod of correction, the staff which is direction. He provides, he gives rest, he confidently leads, he renews and restores, he guides and directs, he protects, he corrects and comforts, he feeds and anoints, he loves, he furnishes permanent shelter. These are all things that I have written down in my notes from just a snippet of what I shared at our very first retreat. And all of this stuff just makes perfect sense to me and lines up directly with your homeschool. And that's why I had to share it, because retreat was not specific to homeschool, but this all encompasses it. Do you see that? Do you see where this is all encompassing in everything? Run your race, your homeschooling race. Keep your eyes on what God has called you to do. Stay true to what you know to be what works for your family. If a 3-day school week works for your family, and that's the amount of time that you dedicate to homeschool bookwork each week, and that's the routine and the system that works for you, do it. Do not look to what someone else is doing. Do not look to what your neighbor down the road is doing. Truly stay true to what the Lord has called you to do and what brings your family peace and rest and joy and comfort, and checks those boxes off for you so that you are following what he's called you to do faithfully and purposefully, but yet you're allowing your family lifestyle and your family dynamics to fall into that too. It's so important, because I know and I've experienced that getting snuffed out, like that joy in homeschooling being snuffed out because we're trying to implement somebody else's routine. We're trying to implement someone else's training program. My training program for this ultra marathon and the half marathon that I did looked nothing like what someone else's training program looked like. My journey preparing for those runs looked nothing like what that 80-some-year-old man's journey looked like. Our journeys looked so different. I guarantee it. I know that. There's nothing similar about our runs. My journey in the ultra marathon compared to the lady who was standing in line with me and my friend who did it, and this was the longest run that my friend and I had ever done. And this lady walks up next to us and she's like, "Oh, I'm so excited about this one because those 100-milers, they just take all day. So I just kind of know I'm going to be there all day. But these ultra marathon, like the 30-milers, the 31-milers, they're pretty quick. So I get pretty nervous about it." And my friend and I just looked at each other and this lady, and we just started laughing. We're like, "You don't understand. This race is going to take us all day. This will take us all day." And again, our races, our preparation, our journey to get us to that final destination, nothing about it looked the same. So I want to encourage you, if you're feeling like there is only one way And there's only one way to do it right. And there's only one schedule that works. And there's only one form of curriculum that works in homeschools. That is such a lie. It is so not true. Go back to God's word and what his word says. His word is living and active. It applies to me in my life and my situations. It applies to the people of the Bible times whom it was written for. It's still written for us today. It still applies to us today just as much as it did yesterday. There's nothing that has changed. God does not change. He is the same. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, always. He is the same. So if we believe all of these things to be true, but we're walking out our homeschool journey and everything is getting snuffed out and we're struggling and we're not understanding why this isn't working and we're not understanding why our kids aren't enjoying it. Guess what? My kids don't enjoy it 9 times out of 10 either. It's school. It's book work. When they were younger, it was easier to make it something that was enjoyable because we added in crayons and artwork and movie days and going out and doing homeschool on the tent or on the trampoline or putting up the tent and homeschooling inside the tent. Like I've shared that stuff with you. They're older now. You don't see me sharing all that stuff because now it's crunch time. They're trying to get their book work, math, IEW, co-op homework, whatever it might be. They're trying to get their homeschool book work done so they can move on to the next thing, which is usually friend time or working on their pickups, mechanicking, or going to work, doing the things that they want to do as functioning teenagers that will carry them through life. And so there are a lot of times that our day, who knows when we're going to homeschool? Most of the time it's in the morning hours, but sometimes it's in the evening because sometimes they have an opportunity to go work for a neighbor, some extra money, learn some life skills, and come home and do their schoolwork in the evening. That is what homeschooling looks like for our family. We are running our own race. We're not running the race of universities and doctors and lawyers because that's not my kids. That's not where they're headed. That's not their passion. My boys, our boys have a passion and a drive and a desire to work. And so we do what we need to do at home. We do all the things that fit our family and that fit our lifestyle. And we do it faithfully. I don't look at how someone else homeschools their kids because my kids are not their kids are not my kids. Our kids don't have the same interests. Our kids are looking in completely different directions for future paths. I have a son who wants to be an electrician. I have a son who's loving mechanicking and on tractors and building all kinds of things that I don't really even understand, but he's loving it and he's thriving. So our afternoons are me and my youngest playing with the chickens and the goats and tending to the property and playing with friends and whatever that looks like. We are running our race. And I want to encourage you with that because that's where the freedom has come for me. I have found such freedom. And it's a continual thing. There are continual layers that the Lord is shaking off and shaving off on me when it comes to homeschooling. Because I was trapped in all the curriculum stuff too. You can go back on my channel to the beginning and I was trapped in all the curriculum stuff, going down all the rabbit trails. And I'm not saying that that's a problem because I get excited about curriculum just like the next homeschool mom. But sometimes that is the problem. Sometimes curriculum is the problem and it needs to be fixed and we need to find something that fits. But sometimes curriculum is the problem. Do you see what I'm saying? There's too much. There's too many options. There's too many people that have a way of doing it that we think, that I thought in my own insecurity, I'm doing it wrong. They must have it all figured out. Homeschooling is truly just one of those things that I want to encourage you and I want to shout it from the rooftops to every mama. Run your race that the Lord has called you to run with endurance. Don't look at how I homeschool my kids because our kids are totally different. You might have all girls. I have all boys. My boys would rather be playing in the dirt, doing all the things. Not that girls wouldn't, but I'm just saying there's a difference there sometimes. The arts and crafts and doing all the fun things, that's gone in our home. Now it's crunch time. My boys are ready to graduate. One of them is graduating in a couple weeks and moving on with his life. And I talked about that a little bit in my last video, so I'll link it down below and check that one out if you want, just kind of like a life update on things. But it's just one of those things that I feel like I was always searching for the perfect curriculum, for the perfect schedule, for the perfect planner, for the perfect whatever it might be. Oh, this is how this mom does it. Maybe if I try that. Sometimes that's wonderful and it's true. There have been things that I've shared on here or things that you mamas have shared with me. Let's take Dennis and algebra for one. That was something that one of you sweet mamas shared with me when I was in a spot that I was like, I don't really know. This isn't, the path we were going was not the path I wanted to continue. And then came Dennison. One of you mamas recommended it to me, and it has changed so many of your guys' homeschools. So I'm not saying that that's all bad. I'm not saying that sharing these things is all bad, but I'm saying if you find yourself heavy, like you're walking through quicksand and you're stuck and you're trying to find what fits and what works and you're discouraged because your homeschool doesn't look like Jane Doe's down the road or so-and-so's on the internet or they do it different and so you're feeling inadequate, like you're not doing enough, you've taken your eyes off the whole point and purpose. Bring your eyes and your focus back to where each step that you are taking is landing instead of everywhere around you. That's my encouragement for you, because that's where I was. I was looking all around, everywhere that I was lost. I was floundering. I was flailing around until I brought my focus back to the one who called me to do this in the first place. The one who knows me, the one who knows my kids, the one who knows every intricate detail of our futures, of our life, of the gifts that he's given them. He knows what he's equipped my kids to do because he's the one who created them. So I'm not going to try and manipulate that in any certain way. I'm going to trust, I'm going to surrender our homeschool and our relationship and everything to the Lord. I'm going to pray about the decisions that I make in our home, and we're going to let him lead. And it's so freeing when we do, and it's not a huge, crazy concept, but it's such a different concept. It's different than what I was taught. It's different than what you were taught probably in public school. I thought that I had to recreate public school at home. I've shared that so many times. I thought I had to recreate public school. That was the worst thing for us. We spent so many years of our early homeschooling time truly in tears and discouraged and wondering if this was even going to work for our family until we settled in and we realized this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to go. We're going to do what we're going to do with a good attitude, with a happy heart. We're going to do it right the first time. We're going to be diligent about it. We're going to be faithful to do what he's asked us to do. But we're not going to do it the way that he's asked somebody else to do it. We're going to do it the way he's asked us to homeschool. So that's my encouragement for you today. That is a little bit of what was shared at our Rooted and Renewed retreat, which was incredible. It was incredible. I know I talk about it a lot, but it truly was. So I just want to share that with you guys. I hope that gives you kind of a fresh view and a fresh vision and take on your homeschool and running your race, your homeschooling journey, AKA race. Run your race that he's called you to run your own way. Watch where each step, what you're landing on. Make sure it's firm and solid and stable, not what other people are doing. Remember that. Be encouraged. I'm right there with you. I'm doing it with you. I'm being refined every single day, just like you are. Constant work in progress. But I've learned a couple things, and I hope that vision and that view is encouraging to you. I will catch you in our next video. Until then, take care, mamas. Bye.